Electric power is everywhere present in unlimited quantities and can drive the world's machinery without the need of coal, oil, gas, or any other fuel.
Nikola Tesla, the renowned genius behind alternating current, reshaped modern civilization with his groundbreaking inventions. Yet, despite his monumental contributions, Tesla faced a lifetime of relentless innovation paired with financial strife, ultimately passing away in poverty. Among his lesser-known projects are wireless energy transmission and the intriguing earthquake machine, inventions that remained shrouded in mystery and largely uncommercialized. Dive into the captivating world of Tesla as we unveil 20 secret inventions by Nikola Tesla that shocked the world. Number 20. Wireless energy transmission. Nikola Tesla, the mastermind behind the revolutionary concept of wireless energy transmission, envisioned a world where electricity could be transmitted through the air without wires. This concept, introduced in the late 1800s, was not just revolutionary, but profoundly ahead of its time. Tesla's work on this began with the development of the Tesla coil around 1891. The Tesla coil, capable of generating high voltage, low current, high-frequency alternating current electricity, was pivotal in his experiments with wireless transmission. Tesla's grand vision came to a head at the Wardenclyffe Tower, also known as the Tesla Tower, constructed in 1901 in Shoreham, New York. This tower was intended to be the first broadcasting system to transmit messages across the Atlantic to Paris and to demonstrate the feasibility of wireless transmission of electrical energy. The tower, over 187 feet tall and capped with a 68-foot diameter dome, was to serve as a magnifying transmitter, enhancing the signals transmitted by the Tesla coil. The core idea was to utilize the Earth's own conductivity to transmit power wirelessly over long distances. Tesla hypothesized that by injecting electric current into the Earth at the right frequency, he could harness the planet's electrical charge to reflect energy to distant parts of the globe. Unfortunately, due to financial difficulties and skepticism from potential investors, the project was never completed. Tesla's Wardenclyffe Tower was demolished in 1917. Despite the project's failure, Tesla's concept of wireless energy transmission has left a lasting legacy. Modern advancements in wireless charging technologies and Wi-Fi are direct descendants of Tesla's early experiments. Number 19. Tesla valve. Nikola Tesla's inventive prowess extended beyond electricity and wireless technologies into the realm of fluid dynamics, exemplified by his creation of the Tesla valve. Patented in 1920, this device, also known as the Tesla check valve or the Tesla diode, was designed to allow fluid to flow in one direction without the use of moving parts, relying instead on a cleverly designed series of channels. The Tesla valve uses a series of interconnected asymmetric loops to control the flow of the fluid. When fluid attempts to flow in the intended direction, the design allows a relatively unhindered path. However, if the fluid flows in the opposite direction, the loops create turbulence that significantly restricts the flow. The valve's unique design eliminates the need for seals, gates, or any moving mechanical parts, which reduces the risk of wear and leakage. This makes the Tesla valve incredibly durable and low maintenance compared to traditional check valves that contain multiple moving components subject to mechanical failure. Though not widely adopted in his time, the Tesla valve has seen renewed interest in recent years, particularly in the fields of microfluidics and aerospace, where its ability to precisely control fluid flow with minimal space and complexity is highly valued. Number 18. The death ray. In the 1930s, Nikola Tesla found himself in dire financial straits. Despite his declining fortunes, Tesla continued to captivate the public's imagination with proposals for new technologies, including a highly ambitious weapon known as the Teleforce, which the media sensationalized as the death ray. Tesla's death ray was claimed to be a defensive weapon that could generate a beam of metal ions, traveling at an astonishing speed of 270,000 miles per hour. Tesla described the beam as having the capability to deliver 100 billion watts of power into an area of just 100 millionth of a square centimeter. He boldly asserted that this beam could shoot down airplanes from a distance of 250 kilometers away. Despite Tesla's detailed descriptions and grand claims, he was notoriously vague about the scientific principles behind the death ray, citing new laws of physics that were yet to be recognized by others. Throughout his later years, Tesla spoke to any journalist who would listen, promoting his creation as a revolutionary defensive tool that could potentially alter warfare by providing an impregnable shield against aerial attacks. The idea of the death ray gained traction in the press as tensions mounted globally with the rise of Nazi Germany. Tesla's birthplace, then known as Yugoslavia, reportedly reached out to him, hoping to deploy this formidable weapon as a defense against the looming Nazi threat. However, despite the widespread interest and his continuous claims until his death, there was never concrete evidence that the death ray was operational. Number 17. Tesla ball. Nikola Tesla's contributions to electrical experimentation introduced a variety of novel concepts and inventions, one of the most visually captivating being what is commonly referred to as the Tesla ball, or more technically, the plasma globe. Although Tesla himself didn't create the modern plasma globe we are familiar with today, his pioneering work with high-frequency, high-voltage electricity directly led to its development. Tesla's experiments in the late 19th and early 20th centuries involved the use of his Tesla coil, a device capable of producing high-voltage, low-current, high-frequency alternating current electricity. This device created visually striking electrical arcs that could illuminate gas-filled tubes and globes, phenomena that are integral to the operation of modern plasma balls. In a plasma globe, a high-frequency alternating current energizes a mixture of noble gases, typically neon, argon, or xenon, contained within a glass sphere. The interaction between the electrically charged particles and the gases produces colorful plasma filaments that extend from the center electrode to the glass, responding dynamically to touch. Tesla's demonstrations of lighting gas-filled tubes wirelessly laid the foundational understanding for how plasma could be excited and maintained visually in devices like the plasma globe. Number 16. Induction motor. Nikola Tesla's invention of the induction motor in the late 1880s revolutionized the way we use electricity. This groundbreaking device harnesses the principles of electromagnetic induction to generate motion, a process that dramatically improved efficiency and reliability in various technologies. The Tesla induction motor, patented in 1888, operates on alternating current, which Tesla himself helped to pioneer. Unlike direct current motors that require brushes and commutators, the AC induction motor uses a simple design involving a rotating magnetic field produced by the stator, the stationary part of the motor. The rotor, which is the moving part, follows this rotating magnetic field in a way that causes the motor shaft to spin, effectively converting electrical energy into mechanical power. One of the most innovative aspects of Tesla's induction motor is its brushless design. This not only reduces maintenance by eliminating the need to replace worn brushes, but also increases efficiency and lifespan. The simplicity and durability of the induction motor made it vastly superior for industrial applications. Today, induction motors are integral to modern life, powering everything from household appliances to industrial machinery. They are preferred for their robustness, efficiency, and the fact that they can operate at a constant speed under varying loads. Number 15. Earthquake machine. One of Nikola Tesla's more mysterious and dramatic inventions was the device he called the earthquake machine, officially known as the Tesla oscillator. Developed in the late 1890s, this mechanical oscillator was designed to produce small earthquakes, demonstrating Tesla's understanding of mechanical resonance. Tesla discovered that if he tuned his oscillator to the resonant frequency of a structure or object, he could cause it to vibrate at increasingly high amplitudes, potentially leading to structural failure. The principle behind this was based on the same laws of physics that allow a soprano's voice to shatter a glass. Tesla's oscillator was small, no larger than an alarm clock, but it was capable of producing significant amounts of energy through mechanical vibrations. The most famous anecdote about the earthquake machine occurred in Tesla's own laboratory located on Houston Street in New York City. Tesla attached the oscillator to a beam supporting the building and turned it on. The vibrations built up to the point where the building shook, and the surrounding neighborhood felt the tremors. Alarmed by the power of the device, Tesla was said to have taken a hammer to the oscillator to disable it. stopping the vibrations before any serious damage could occur. Tesla believed that this technology could have practical applications, such as in the field of construction for the safe demolition of old buildings. The earthquake machine, however, never progressed beyond the experimental stage in Tesla's lifetime. Number 14. The flying apparatus. In 1903, the Wright brothers amazed the world with their flying machine, sparking a race among scientists to innovate in aviation. Nikola Tesla, never one to sit on the sidelines, contributed his own design called the flying apparatus. In 1928, Tesla patented this unique concept, which differed significantly from the Wright brothers' airplane. Tesla's design could take off vertically and has been credited as a precursor to the United States Air Force's V-22 Osprey. Tesla's invention, which he described as a helicopter plane, combined elements of both helicopters and airplanes. The patent disclosed a chassis with a cockpit, an engine at the rear, and a top-mounted propeller. At the start of a flight, the aircraft would rise vertically like a helicopter. Then, it would gradually tilt 90 degrees, allowing the propeller to face forward, while the cockpit rotated to keep the pilot facing forward. Tesla recognized the practical challenges of his design. He noted in the patent that the utility of the aircraft was diminished because it required a rapid translatory movement to generate enough lift, implying the need for a long runway. This limitation hampered the commercial viability of the invention. Despite these challenges, Tesla's concept offered an elegant solution to a difficult problem. The design featured a single engine, making it simpler and lighter. Although the flying apparatus was never built, it showcased Tesla's innovative spirit and forward-thinking approach to aviation. This patent turned out to be Tesla's final one, as he passed away in 1943. Number 13. Wireless electric lighting. Nikola Tesla's exploration into the capabilities of electrical transmission was not limited to mere power delivery. A standout example of his ingenuity is Tesla's wireless lighting technology, developed during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. This revolutionary concept involved the transmission of electrical energy without the need for wires, which Tesla demonstrated publicly in his famous lectures before the turn of the century. Tesla's experiments with wireless lighting were an extension of his broader research into wireless energy transfer. He utilized his invention, the Tesla coil, which could produce high-voltage, high-frequency alternating currents. In a series of public demonstrations, including those at his Colorado Springs lab in the 1890s, Tesla showed that he could light lamps filled with gas without them being connected to any wires. He achieved this by creating a strong electromagnetic field around the coil, which in turn induced currents in the nearby lamps, causing them to glow. This method of using electromagnetic fields to wirelessly power lighting devices was not just a spectacular display, but also hinted at potential future applications in powering devices and appliances without physical connectors. Tesla's vision extended to envisaging entire buildings and even cities being powered wirelessly, reducing the complexity and cost of electrical infrastructure. While widespread application of wireless lighting as Tesla envisioned has not yet been realized, his experiments significantly influenced modern wireless charging technologies used in gadgets like smartphones and electric toothbrushes. Number 12. Magnifying transmitter. Nikola Tesla's magnifying transmitter stands as one of his most ambitious projects, designed to wirelessly transmit electrical energy across vast distances. Built in the late 1890s and early 1900s at his laboratory in Colorado Springs, this massive device was an enhanced version of the Tesla coil, crafted to increase the power and range of wireless transmission. The magnifying transmitter functioned by generating extremely high voltages, which were then transmitted through the atmosphere or the ground. The core principle was to use the Earth itself as a conductor and transmit energy across it without the need for wires. Tesla's experiments aimed to prove that electrical energy could be made available anywhere on Earth, providing free and unlimited power to anyone, anywhere. Tesla documented that during experiments, the magnifying transmitter created artificial lightning bolts over 100 feet long, producing thunder that could be heard 15 miles away. These experiments not only demonstrated the potential of wireless power transmission, but also explored the upper limits of electrical science at the time. Despite the groundbreaking potential of the magnifying transmitter, Tesla's vision faced significant challenges. including financial difficulties and skepticism from potential investors. The project was eventually abandoned, and the tower at Colorado Springs was dismantled in 1906. Number 11. Remote control. In the late 19th century, Nikola Tesla made one of the earliest known applications of radio frequency for controlling a device remotely. This innovation took place during an electrical exhibition at Madison Square Garden in 1898. Here, Tesla astounded audiences by demonstrating a 4-foot-long boat that could be steered by remote control. This device, which Tesla affectionately called the teleautomaton, was controlled via electromagnetic waves, showcasing a technology that had never been seen before. Tesla's remote control boat was equipped with a small, motor-driven propeller and rudder, and it was powered by batteries on board. The genius of Tesla's design lay in his method for directing the boat's movements. He used a box with a lever and a telegraph key to send signals to the mechanism inside the boat. The key aspect was the use of radio frequencies to communicate commands to the boat's onboard receiver, which then translated these signals into mechanical actions. This invention utilized several radio frequency channels to control different functions of the boat, a concept that has evolved into the modern multi-channel radio controllers used in everything from drones to sophisticated industrial machinery. Tesla's demonstration effectively introduced the concept of frequency hopping, a method for switching across various frequencies to reduce interference, which would later become a critical technique in both telecommunications and military applications. Number 10. The shadowgraph. Tesla's experiments with shadowgraphs occurred in the late 1890s, around the same time that Wilhelm Röntgen discovered X-rays in 1895. However, Tesla independently conducted his research into this groundbreaking technology without knowledge of Röntgen's work, making his findings simultaneously innovative and parallel. Tesla's foray into shadowgraphs began as he explored the effects of passing electrical currents through various objects. He discovered that certain rays, which were not visible to the naked eye, could penetrate solid matter and project shadowy images of the object's interior onto a fluorescent screen positioned behind it. These shadowy images provided a glimpse into the otherwise opaque structure of the object, marking the early uses of X-ray imaging in science and medicine. Tesla's technique involved the use of Crookes tubes, a type of discharge tube that was an essential precursor to the modern X-ray tube. He experimented by placing his hand between the Crookes tube and the photographic plate, creating one of the first X-ray images of the human body in the process. This image clearly showed the contrasting densities of bone and soft tissue, presenting a revolutionary way to study the anatomy without invasive procedures. Number 9. Tesla's Egg of Columbus. Nikola Tesla, after a challenging period, focused on advancing his revolutionary concept of generating energy through spinning magnetic fields. To effectively demonstrate this innovative idea and secure necessary investments, Tesla created an ingenious device known as Tesla's Egg of Columbus. Nikola Tesla showcased the Egg of Columbus at the World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago in 1893. This device was an electromagnetic motor designed to generate the precise force needed to spin a brass egg and make it stand upright on a flat surface. The demonstration was inspired by the historical anecdote involving Christopher Columbus and the Spanish court. When challenged to make an egg stand upright, Columbus simply flattened one end of the egg, illustrating that seemingly impossible feats could be achieved through clever solutions. Tesla's device similarly aimed to showcase the potential of alternating current power systems in a visual and tangible way. By using the rotating magnetic field generated by his device, the brass egg would spin rapidly and then stand upright due to the stabilization forces of the magnetic field, mimicking Columbus's feat, but with magnetic forces. The demonstration was held before potential investors, including Alfred S. Brown, Director of Western Union, and Charles F. Peck, a New York City attorney. The visual impact and simplicity of the demonstration played a crucial role in helping these investors grasp the potential and practical applications of alternating current technology. Number 8. Tesla turbine. The Tesla turbine, patented in 1913, represents one of Nikola Tesla's innovative approaches to energy conversion machinery. Unlike traditional turbines that utilize blades or buckets to capture energy, the Tesla turbine operates on a boundary layer principle, where a series of thin, parallel discs are mounted on a rotor and move fluid along the disc's surfaces through viscosity and adhesion. Tesla's turbine is unique because it uses the smooth discs to convert fluid flow into energy. When air, steam, or any other fluid is injected tangentially through a port into a tightly sealed casing containing the discs, the fluid spirals inward and transfers its energy to the discs by means of boundary layer effects, dragging the discs along in the process. This energy transfer is highly efficient due to the reduced turbulence compared to traditional turbines. Tesla envisioned his turbine as a highly efficient alternative for automobiles, airplanes, and other machinery. One notable advantage of this design is its simplicity and the absence of complex parts, which minimizes wear and maintenance. Furthermore, its ability to operate with various fluids makes it versatile for different applications. However, despite its high efficiency at converting the kinetic energy of fluids to mechanical energy, the Tesla turbine did not see widespread adoption during Tesla's lifetime, largely due to material limitations of the time that could not withstand the high speeds and temperatures without significant wear. Number 7. The electric arc lamp. Developed in the late 1800s, Tesla's arc lamp was a type of light that used an electric arc, a discharge that occurs when current travels through the air between two conductors, to produce bright, continuous light. This invention was part of Tesla's broader exploration into electrical light and energy. Tesla's arc lamp was distinct because it utilized alternating current, contrasting with most early arc lamps which were powered by direct current. The use of AC allowed Tesla's lamps to be more efficient and stable compared to the existing DC arc lamps. His design incorporated automatic mechanisms for maintaining the distance between the electrodes. This was critical because as the lamp operated, the electrodes would slowly burn away, and maintaining the correct distance was essential to sustain the arc, and thus, the light output. The electric arc lamp was known for its intense light, which was brighter than the incandescent bulbs of the time, and was initially used primarily for large outdoor areas and street lighting. Tesla's innovations in this area demonstrated the practicality and efficiency of using AC for high-intensity lighting systems. Number 6. Hydroelectric power plant in Niagara Falls. Nikola Tesla's impact on modern electricity generation was epitomized by his involvement in the development of the hydroelectric power plant at Niagara Falls. In the late 19th century, Tesla, along with George Westinghouse, won the bid to harness the power of Niagara Falls, a feat that marked a significant milestone in the use of renewable energy resources. The project began in the early 1890s, with Tesla's alternating current system competing against Thomas Edison's direct current system. Tesla's AC was more efficient over long distances, making it ideal for transmitting electricity from Niagara Falls to distant cities. The construction of the Niagara Falls power plant was completed in 1895, fundamentally changing the way electricity was produced and distributed. The plant utilized Tesla's patented polyphase AC induction motors and generators, a groundbreaking technology at the time. These machines converted the mechanical energy of falling water into electrical energy without the need for fuel or extensive mechanical infrastructure. The initial capacity of the plant was about 37,500 kilowatts, which powered local industries, and later it was extended to residential areas. Tesla's technology at Niagara Falls demonstrated the potential of hydroelectric power to provide clean, sustainable energy. Before we move on, here's today's subscriber's pick. Imagine walking down a bustling street at the dawn of the 20th century, only to witness a scene straight out of a sci-fi novel. Nikola Tesla, one of the greatest inventors of all time, shaking hands with a towering robot. This striking image, generated by AI, encapsulates a moment that vividly illustrates the forward-thinking spirit of Tesla. Though Tesla himself did not create robots as we understand them today, his work laid crucial groundwork for what would become robotics and automated technology. He experimented with what could be considered early versions of automatons and was a pioneer in remote control technology, introducing concepts that would eventually lead to the development of independent, task-performing machines. How does this blend of historical genius and futuristic technology in one image inspire you about the past and future of innovation? What do you think Tesla would say if he could see the current landscape of robotics and AI today? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Number 5. Ozone generator. Nikola Tesla, always ahead of his time, delved into the environmental and health-related applications of his inventions, one of which was the ozone generator. This device, which Tesla began developing in the early 1900s, aimed to harness the power of ozone for sanitation and therapeutic purposes. Ozone is a molecule made up of 3 oxygen atoms. It's a highly reactive gas with strong oxidizing properties, which makes it effective at destroying bacteria and purifying air and water. Tesla's ozone generator used high-voltage electricity to produce ozone by splitting normal oxygen molecules in the air into single oxygen atoms. These single atoms then attach to O2 molecules to form ozone. Tesla patented several devices that generated ozone for these purposes, believing strongly in its potential to improve human health and hygiene. He even proposed using ozone to purify the water in swimming pools and other applications requiring sterilization. In an era when the importance of sanitation was just becoming widely accepted, Tesla's ozone generator was particularly innovative. In his New York City laboratory, Tesla experimented with using ozone as a disinfectant and believed it could be used for medical treatments, including being injected into the body to cleanse blood. Although modern medical science would question such direct applications, ozone is used today to treat certain medical conditions and sterilize medical equipment. Number 4. Tesla's polyphase system. Developed in the late 1880s, this system revolutionized the power industry by enabling the efficient transmission of electrical energy over vast distances. The Tesla polyphase system utilizes multiple phases of alternating current that function together, delivering energy in a constant stream. This system typically uses 3 phases, which are out of phase with each other by 1/3 of a cycle. The use of 3 separate currents helps to balance the load and maintain a continuous energy delivery, which is more efficient and stable compared to a single-phase system. This innovation was pivotal during the War of Currents, where Tesla and his financial backer, George Westinghouse, advocated for the superiority of AC over Thomas Edison's direct current. Tesla's system proved to be more practical for long-distance power transmission because it could easily be stepped up to high voltages with transformers, reducing energy loss during transmission, and then stepped back down to safe, usable voltages for consumers. The first major demonstration of the Tesla polyphase system was at the 1893 World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago, where it powered the entire fairgrounds with unprecedented efficiency and safety. Following this, the system was selected to harness the power of Niagara Falls, effectively lighting up Buffalo, New York, and later New York City, marking the beginning of widespread electrical utility implementation. Number 3. Neon lights. Throughout the 1890s, alongside his groundbreaking work on alternating current power technology, Nikola Tesla was exploring the realms of high-frequency electricity. His investigations were inspired by James Clerk Maxwell's 1873 mathematical proof that light is a form of electromagnetic radiation, oscillating at extremely high frequencies. This curiosity led Tesla to create the Tesla coil, a device pivotal not only in electrical experiments, but also in the evolution of lighting technology. The Tesla coil, by generating high-voltage, high-frequency currents, enabled Tesla to experiment with gas discharge tubes, the predecessors to modern neon and fluorescent lighting. In a significant event in 1890, a vacuum tube in Tesla's lab glowed brightly without any physical connection to a power source, demonstrating wireless power transfer and illuminating a path toward the development of neon lighting. Tesla's experiments extended to sending electrical streams through various gases. He was able to produce what he called 4 distinct types of lightning by using different gases and phosphorescent materials. This process converted invisible ultraviolet light into visible light, a foundational concept behind neon lights. By adjusting the gases and the coatings inside these tubes, Tesla could create bright, colorful lights, which became the basis for neon signs. Moreover, these early experiments by Tesla were critical in the eventual popularization of neon lighting, which now illuminates city centers worldwide. Number 2. Tesla coil. Developed in 1891, this innovative device is not just a cornerstone of high-voltage experiments, but also a key player in the advancement of radio technology. The Tesla coil is fundamentally a resonant air core transformer, showcasing Tesla's mastery over the manipulation of electromagnetic fields. It operates on a simple yet profound principle involving 2 coils, a primary and a secondary, each fitted with its own capacitor. These components work together to create what's known as resonant inductive coupling. Here's how it works. The primary coil's capacitor charges until the voltage is high enough to break down the air resistance in a spark gap, a small air gap between two electrodes. This spark gap then acts like a switch, allowing the energy to flow into the primary coil, which creates a magnetic field. As the magnetic field expands and collapses, it induces a current in the secondary coil. This setup can generate extremely high voltages, often resulting in the dramatic electrical arcs and corona discharges that Tesla coils are famous for. What makes the Tesla coil particularly unique is its ability to produce high-frequency alternating current. This feature made it invaluable in the early experiments with radio communication, providing a means to generate and send radio waves across distances. Number 1. Pyromagnetic generator. Nikola Tesla also ventured into the realm of thermodynamics with his concept of a pyromagnetic generator. This device was intended to convert heat energy directly into magnetic and then electrical energy without the need for traditional steam or water-based turbines. Tesla's pyromagnetic generator was based on the principle that changes in the magnetization of certain materials could be induced by changes in temperature. The generator would utilize materials that exhibit strong magnetic responses to temperature changes, known as pyromagnetic materials. When heated, these materials would become magnetized, and when cooled, they would demagnetize. Tesla envisioned a cyclic process in which this heating and cooling would create a fluctuating magnetic field, capable of driving an electrical generator through the use of induction coils. The innovative aspect of Tesla's design was its direct method of converting thermal energy to electrical energy, bypassing the mechanical steps that are typical in conventional thermal power generation. Tesla suggested that such a generator could be more efficient than existing technologies at that time, potentially providing a cleaner and more direct method of electrical generation from heat sources. Despite its theoretical potential, the pyromagnetic generator was never fully realized or demonstrated by Tesla. Challenges such as the efficient capture and conversion of thermal energy, as well as the practical construction of a device using the pyromagnetic effect, remained unresolved during his lifetime. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.